Brethren, please be upstanding to receive your worshipful master. To open the lodge.
Freemasons from all over Yorkshire gather at provincial headquarters for a special occasion. The cameras are present to see Freemasons in action and to hear their views on Freemasonry.
Nice to see you. Hi. Hiya. How are you? Fine, thank you. All right.
For more than half a century, Freemasons have preferred to avoid publicity. Now, though, they're prepared to allow a wider public to share their thoughts about the historic organisation to which they belong.
Certainly with the media today, we've got to be open. What we want to do is dispel all these myths about Freemasonry. If we said today, no comment, people would say, well, there's something to hide. And the only thing the Mason will not disclose are the modes of recognition.
Freemasons trace their origins and their ceremonies back to the medieval stonemasons who built our great cathedrals.
We like to think that we have something to offer where our brethren can meet and enjoy their fellowship together in Freemasonry, and the teachings that we have are ones of morality, and hopefully those teachings will enable us to lead a better life. There is a meaning behind everything that we do.
So why does a new Mason have one trouser leg rolled up?
Why? One of the questions that we ask a candidate is, are you a free man? In the old days, if he'd been manacled, we would have known he wasn't a free man.
For Freemasons, the central part of the ceremony for the making of a new Mason is the charge. A senior Mason recites from memory the ideals and rules by which the new brother will be expected to live.
No institution can boast a more solid foundation than that on which Freemasonry rests, the practice of every moral and social virtue. And to so high an eminence has its credit been advanced, that in every age, monarchs themselves have been promoters of the art, have not thought it derogatory to their dignity to exchange the sceptre for the trowel, and have patronised and joined in our assemblies. As a Freemason, let me recommend to your most serious contemplation the volume of the Sacred Law, charging you to consider it as the unerring standard of truth and justice, and to regulate your actions by the divine precepts it contains. Therein, you be told the important duties you owe to God, to your neighbour, and to yourself. To God, by never mentioning his name, but with that awe and reverence which are due from the creature to his Creator. By imploring his aid in all your lawful undertakings, and by looking up to him in every emergency for comfort and support. To your neighbour, by acting with him on the square, by rendering every kind office which justice or mercy may require, by relieving his necessities and soothing his afflictions, and by doing to him as in similar cases you would wish he would do to you. And to yourself, by such a prudent and well-regulated course of discipline as may best conduce to the preservation of your corporeal and mental faculties in their fullest energy, thereby enabling you to exert those talents wherewith God has blessed you, as well to his glory as the welfare of your fellow creatures. As a citizen of the world, I am to enjoin you to be exemplary in the discharge of your civil duties, by never proposing or at all countenancing any act that may have a tendency to subvert the peace and good order of society, by paying due obedience to the laws of any state, which may for a time become the place of your residence, or afford you its protection, and above all, by never losing sight of the allegiance due to the sovereign of your native land, ever remembering that nature has implanted in your breast a sacred and indissoluble attachment toward that country whence you derived your birth and infant nurture. As an individual, let me recommend the practice of every domestic as well as public virtue. Let prudence direct you, temperance chasten you, fortitude support you, and justice be the guide of all your actions. And be especially careful to maintain in their fullest splendour those truly Masonic ornaments which have already been amply illustrated: benevolence and charity. Let me exhort you to dedicate yourself to such pursuits that may at once enable you to be respectable in life, useful to mankind, and an ornament to the society of which you have this day become a member. To study more especially such of those liberal arts and sciences that may lie within the compass of your attainment, and without neglecting the ordinary duties of your station, to endeavour to make a daily advancement in Masonic knowledge. From the very commendable attention you appear to have given this charge, I am led to hope that you will duly appreciate the value of Freemasonry, and indelibly imprint on your heart the sacred dictates of truth, of honour, and of virtue.
The candidate now begins his new life as a brother. Who will he be like?
Friendship is the greatest thing I have in Freemasonry. A feeling of well-being as you get on the brethren.
People treat your not because of your color or religion, but as an individual. When I first joined Freemasonry, I couldn't say boo to this, but now with doing work in the lodge room and things like that and ritual, I could quite easily get up in front of people and speak and be quite confident about it and not be at all concerned, and it's made me a better person.
The secrecy surrounding Masonry has led to a number of myths. For example, some people still think Freemasonry is a religion. It isn't. Freemasons must believe in their own God and practice their own religion. But tonight there's a Hindu present, so 2 volumes of the sacred law, a Gita and a Bible, are laid out together.
There is no Masonic God, and as a practicing Christian, I happen to be an Anglican, but we cover all faiths, I find that my Freemasonry contemplates my Christianity, but can never replace it.
This room is larger, we can have general anaesthesia facilities in here, we can provide very high quality pain relief, of the kind that is possible now, but a bit difficult. And we're going to do it easy.
Freemasons have often been accused of looking out only for each other, but that's not the case. Freemasons raise large amounts of money for local charities.
So obviously we need to just modernise the whole apparatus and make it up to the modern standards of infection control, which will certainly aid treatment and may well save lives.
I'm absolutely delighted to be able to come this afternoon and present to you this cheque on behalf of the West Riding Freemasons towards the refurbishment of the dressings suite.
In Yorkshire, the burns unit at Pinderfields Hospital is receiving a cheque for £45,000.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you on behalf of the Regional Burns Unit and the Trust for this amazingly generous donation, which I know will help the people who come to the clinic and the people who work in it. So I'm grateful very much to the West Riding Freemasons. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, there are 3 grand principles, Jeff, to be a Freemason: friendship, charity and integrity. What we've seen today at Pinderfields is our charitable side at work, and we're delighted to give this £45,150 for this refurbishing the burn suite, and this is Freemasonry at work in the community. A lot of our critics say we only look after our own. I think this is, again, living proof that we do our bit towards helping whenever we can in charitable work.
Another popular myth about Freemasonry is that women are excluded. Untrue. Women play a major role.
It gives us wives a great deal of comfort to know where they are, what they're doing and who they're with. But the ladies do have a very, very active social side as well, which we all enjoy. And this is split up into all sorts of areas. Several lodges have their own ladies' circles. It's particularly nice for gentlemen who are wanting to come into the lodge, because their wives are often a member of the ladies' circle before they actually are initiated into the lodge. And so the wives know the ladies' wives before the gentlemen come in. So when they go to a ladies' function, there they are, they know all the friends, and it's not so strange. Although I haven't chosen to become a Freemason myself, there are lots of opportunities and lodges for ladies to join, and they can become full members and go through the whole process as do their gentlemen counterparts.
The women-only lodges are independent of the United Grand Lodge of England.
The Worshipful Master will be pleased to receive greetings from all the remaining brethren.
Thank you. The other great myth about Freemasonry is that it's a secret society.
We do have secrets, just secrets of recognition amongst ourselves, but nothing secret other than that.
It's part of our ceremonial, before ceremonial, nothing. I mean, you belong to an institution without any secrets. I mean, otherwise you won't be existing.
You talk at work and people then talk to you about Freemasonry. They show an interest in Freemasons, so you bring them up amongst your social evenings and they decide for themselves if it's for them. Whether they like the company, whether they like what we stand for, the good that we do.
Anything that the mind doesn't understand is frightening. Let's be fair, that's to us all. And I think Freemasonry has been this to many politicians. They don't understand it. They've read certainly wrong misinformation on the subject, and we have been our own worst enemies in not being open about our affairs.
What's the difference of being a member of a golf club and you know someone who is a painter and decorator and you want a job doing there? You go out and speak to a friend who you know can do you will do you a good job. So there's people who, what's a blank in Freemasonry? And so you talk to them, and if you want something doing, there's nothing underhand at all.
We are now in the process of trying to convince the public that they have nothing to fear from Freemasonry, that there is nothing in Freemasonry that's sinister. But yet we are still a private organisation, and our lodges are private in the same way as other clubs are private. But the workings of the lodges are quite well known to everybody, and we have nothing to hide from the public.
So are there any circumstances in which public duty conflicts with Masonic membership?
It is again a myth that judges, magistrates and the police get together and do certain things. Nothing has ever been proved. And as a magistrate, I have never ever had any conflict at all with being a member of Freemasonry.
Freemasons are always keen to welcome new members. Open evenings are a regular feature at lodges all over the country.
Howdy, darling. Nice to see you. Hello, Paul. Welcome to our open evening. Would you like to come on through? Sure. Brethren, shall we all wander in? Thanks. What I'd like to do tonight is talk to you about the policy of openness, and for those who may wish to consider joining Freemasonry at the end of the evening, to tell you the procedure for becoming a member. Now, gentlemen, Freemasonry was very open before the Second World War, and in fact you could buy 2 weekly magazines on the bookstall and a monthly magazine. And in 1851, the foundation stone for St George's Hall in Bradford was laid by one of our Grand Masters, and this took place along with a civic and a Masonic procession through Bradford, where they then returned to what would then be the town hall in Bradford, where there was a banquet and Masonic toasts and civic toasts were taken together. That must have been wonderful in those days, gentlemen. The nearest we got to it actually about 3 or 4 weeks ago, one of my colleagues who's with us this evening actually presented a cheque from the Freemasons of West Yorkshire to the Lord Mayor of Bradford, and this was presented in the Mayor's Parlour, and my colleague was in his Masonic regalia. So we are making great steps forward. What we think actually happened is that when Hitler arrived in France, sort of 18 miles away from the south coast, and bearing in mind he'd already been persecuting Freemasons, we think that our predecessors were a little nervous and started to look inwards. And that habit of looking inwards became official policy. We then, in Masonic terms, we used to call it the 40 years period of silence. So that when the media, if there's anything relating to Freemasonry, rang up Grand Lodge, the stock answer used to be no comment. And I'm sure you'll agree, in today's world, in the late 1990s, that if you say no comment, then unfortunately it's almost an admission of guilt. So this is why we have this policy of openness. Another interesting one, there's many amusing things, of course, in this job that I've got, gentlemen and brethren. And the Telegraph and Argus, the local paper, evening paper for Bradford, have been very, very helpful to us, covering various subjects. And we'd recently done an article about the committee, and then one of the members of a lodge in the locality rang me to say, have you seen the headlines in the Telegraph this evening? Full page. River pollution. All the fault of the Freemasons. I ask you. The basis behind this accusation was, so the reporter said, that because all the judiciary, because all the heads of the water companies and river authorities were Freemasons, that no prosecutions would take place. Now, how ridiculous. But we're able to talk to the Telegraph and Argus about this. A letter was sent off to the editor, and I'm pleased to say that that was printed and it was unabridged. So that's another benefit of the media committee. Obviously now, as I said earlier, we'd be delighted to take any questions.
It might be helpful to just say what the simple principles are that we're looking for in a candidate.
Yes. We're looking for, well, in fact, Freemasonry, it's quite often said that anyone can join, from a dustman to a duke. And in fact, that's what we have in Freemasonry, such a cross-selection of people from all walks of life. And bearing in mind our three grand principles of friendship, charity and integrity, we're looking for members who would obviously enjoy the friendship side, the ones who are charitable, and we're looking for men with upright intentions. Thank you for that.
You're a member of one lodge. You said there were 215. Are you able to visit other lodges?
Absolutely. Very good question. Thank you for that. Once you become a member of a lodge, the first degree, then you can actually visit any of the lodges at their regular meeting throughout the whole area of West Yorkshire. Yes.
Are there any practical things that Masons get involved in on the charity work?
Local lodges might become aware of a local project, and they themselves will collect money from their members to give to a local cause. I think it was in this particular room that one of the lodges collected some money for some instruments for a youth band.
But why should busy young people want to take on the commitment and responsibility which goes with life as a Freemason?
A lot of it's the social side, yeah, but I also like the sort of charitable work that they say that they've been doing. I know in one of their magazines I've bought a lifeboat. It's really that I found them so friendly. You know, I've actually been to meet them. Curiosity was there. I went to meet them, and the most friendly set of people you'd wish to meet, really. So I mean, that's really done it for me, you know.
I visited a family day, took my wife and children along, and everyone was very friendly, very welcoming, and that's really what it's about. You know, I came here tonight to learn a little bit more about it, just to make sure that I wanted to join or not.
Brethren, assist me to close the lot.
Go on, Ron. Upstanding whilst the worship master retires.
After the lodge is closed, there is the festive board, the chance to relax and strengthen the bonds of friendship which bind Masons together.
The provincial Grand Master would like to take wine with the Grand Officers and Provincial Grand Officers present.
Even as they relax, Masons are reminded of their priorities and of their obligations.
Freemasonry is a luxury.
Our families and our jobs must come first, and if we have any time spare, this is where Freemasonry comes in to take that time.
Brethren, pray silence for the Tyler for his turn.
Brethren, to all poor and distressed Masons, wheresoever they may be, on land, sea, or in the air, wishing them a safe and speedy return to their own native shore, if so be it, they so wish it.
Ladies, gentlemen, and brethren, will you please receive the most worshipful, the Grand Master.
Conscious of their history, a few years ago, Masons from all over the world came together in London for a magnificent ceremony and spectacle to celebrate their achievements and their status in public life. In this country, Freemasonry is our largest secular, fraternal, multicultural and charitable organisation. Freemasonry has nothing to hide. It is proud to share its ideals and beliefs with the wider community. We hope this video has answered some of your questions. If you'd like to know more, please contact the Province of Yorkshire West Riding, the Masonic Hall, Springbank Place, Bradford BD8 7BH. Or telephone 01274 481242 or fax 01274 490018. Our email address is pgl@wrprovince.co.uk, and we look forward to hearing from you.